Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, the truth is that I've been, I guess, skating and maybe not giving you the hard truth as I should for one reason or another. And one of those reasons might have been because I know we are so far off from the truth till the closer we get to the truth, the more frightening it becomes and it scares us away. Maybe that's not what I was thinking. But I never planned to be a preacher. I planned to live life and enjoy life. And I believe that every individual on earth has the same kind of strategy. We like to do different things, and that's well, good and understood. But the thing of it that really is exciting to me, ladies and gentlemen, is that I found out that things can be rough, things can really be difficult. But I also found out that there was a power that's above difficult, and it gives you a truth so understandable that it can eradicate and eliminate all of the problems that you might have. Now, when I end up saying that, that was because, I mean, I'd say that, but I could back that up because a few things happened in my life that were miraculous. I mean, I couldn't have fixed it as far as I know. No one else could have. And at the same time, it did. It happened, and it was by an invisible power, which tells me that there's a power that's sufficient for all our needs. And so when I see pain and suffering, I, for some strange reason, can see why it exists. And I also see how it is to be fixed. And when I just can't keep that to myself, so I come and tell you. For instance, let me give you an example. We know what we think about God, whether we listen to it, think it's, or whether we're atheists or whatever the case might be. We still got some idea about God that's coming. Now, we got an idea about the opposite of God that's coming. Check this out. One is to say if it's good, that's for God, and if it's bad, that's for the devil. We have in our lifetime, in our Congress, right before the American people and the people of the world, we had an administration that tried to steal the government from the people. I mean, actually steal the government. Ain't that bad? I mean, that's a bad mother, isn't it? Gonna take the government and gonna do it in such a way that you don't know it. And then if you discover that it's happening, you're gonna show how bad you are by making it still exist. And then when you get adjudicated or the hearing takes place, and you got so much power that when someone gets before the Congress and tell the truth, you condemn them. But what's that ain't the bad part. The bad part is that after you have condemned them, a certain percentage of the American people who know darn well that you lie agree with you for whatever reason. It wasn't had nothing to do with truth, but there was a reason there for something. And that tells anybody that can see what kind of country we have. It might have been a small portion or could have been a big portion. It was big enough that even after he had to accept the fact that he wasn't going to be in office. He still say he's president. He accepted the fact that he was going to be in office. The American people brought him back. Or did he lie? Did he deceive? Was there some kind of con game going on? Because he never lets up. He never lets up. There's no truth about him since he's been here. And there is no better time than now for you to see for yourself. You don't even have to read the Bible. You can see for yourself how evil is because it takes away from you. It robs you. And walk around talking about golden toilets. Walk around talking about how prestigious and wealthy and how that might and that all of that crazy stuff. Well, you know that. We all know that. But when I I guess I've been chosen because I've received the benefits of blessings from an invisible power. So it's my duty and my responsibility to tell you that there is a power that will protect you from that. You see, everything on this earth that is associated with human beings was designed to bring joy to human beings by human beings using it, exercising it as what it was designed to do. And in doing that, you're glorifying the invisible power, bringing into being things that were never seen. God is great. But what happens in that process is that you get a chance to choose something that you love doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking, look at the world. How much money you making? I guarantee you, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, you're not making enough money to do the things that you want to do. Well, maybe a few of you are. The big thieves, they are, but you aren't. And over here, the things that you have chosen as your greatest love, you get a chance to do it. But when you're working on alignment with God's plan is this, is that every human being on the face of the earth, and just in case you didn't know, God's plan is that you are here because of the breath of God in you. That's why you are here. You are a representation of God. Your structure and everything, and like the breath of life is the hard drive, really, because when it's gone, it's gone. But it's the hard drive that keeps you going. And what actually is happening is that God is being in you, is using you to do the things that God loves. And by virtue of you being created by that power, that's what you love to do. And now God is through you, and you are receiving joy of doing what you love. My friends, can you imagine every human being on the face of the earth engaged in something like that? Can you imagine people all everywhere, black, white, Chinese, American, African, whatever else exists? Can you imagine having that kind of a life? Everybody doing what they love doing. And what are they doing? They are creating. You know, right now, they're some of the things that a lot of people can't afford. Let's say, when the first came out the computer was a gift from the invisible world, utilizing certain individuals to bring it on the scene. And the purpose for it is that whatever it is used for, that's the purpose for it. But every human being on the face of the earth that wanted it should have it. Now that doesn't mean you have to have it in your house, because you might not want it in your house, but having access to it, the kind of access that you require. The same thing for televisions, for telephones, for cars, for knives, for forks, for spoons, for baking, for living. God made it that way. But there have been those who have said, you've heard it said somebody about the devil wanted to be higher than God or something like that. You've heard that said. You might have heard it a little bit different, but it meant the same thing. And that's the same thing that's happening on earth. God has made it so every last one of us will never regret living. But there is the same kind of spirit on the other side that wants more than what God has designed for us. They want them, on the one hand, they want to be higher than God. And on the other hand, they want to be higher than anything that God has created. By using you, we the people that God has created, using us to follow a different plan, a plan that they have come up with. He or they or whatever it is have come up with. And that plan involves lying and cheating and stealing and deceiving and taking from others what they possess, so that the thief can have more. And you is the other part, have so much less. And that makes them so much more and so much bigger, they think, than you. And so they are trying to run over God on the spiritual side, because now we are not doing what God created us to do. And not only are we not doing what God created us to do, we are working and giving power to that which God is this, which peace and prosperity cannot be a part of. So what I'm saying is that there's no better time for us to see how evil works. I keep thinking about this woman who told the truth in the Senate and lost, and people went against her. I mean, she knew everybody was glad. She told the truth. Oh, wow. Miss Cheney, let me just say it, told the truth. And the people who were saying, wow, she's not sticking to the lie. She's not being traditional. Thank God. That's what other folks were saying. And because of that, she lost her job. This, the devil said, and I'm going to say the devil said, because it was the devil that said, I'm going to get you. And when the devil said, I'm going to get you, all of those people that's following the devil said, man, we going to give you the power. We going to vote against her. And did it. That was the devil working straight. And what did those who stand for God do? Well, somebody might say, well, the next election, they voted him out. But what good was that? Because you voted him out? Was that all you wanted to do? See, the key, what did you do that God wanted done? See, during that same period of time, there was poverty. There was violence being expressed upon the people. And you know where that comes from. All of this other stuff that you could have been doing to correct the thing that make the joy and the peace available to people. It was stagnant, just sitting there, doing nothing. And I guess that all goes to the fact that people don't know God, don't know what to do. Or if they find themselves committed to something outside of God, they just feel that they got to stick to it. And nothing has moved them to the degree that they would change. So this is why I find myself seemingly always lifting up God, because God is the answer to all your prayers. Every last one of them. The world is as it is, and people love one another even in the world. But in that world, there under certain conditions, everyone would turn against everyone else. Everyone would. Moms would turn against dads, dads against moms, children against parents, and parents against children. I mean, it'll all happen because there's a limit that people who don't know God, and they just won't go beyond that until they can't help it. My thing of it is this: if you know the truth, there's no better time to do it than now. No better time to do it than now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll put you on pause. And there's another thing I think I'd like to share with you. You know, if you've ever done time for crime, and me personally, I think the world created crime for you because it was exploiting you and didn't want to fix the problem. So it left a door open for you to satisfy yourself by doing what they have designed for you not to do. And that way they put you in jail. But they created the situation. Didn't fix it. Just left it there. So when you do what you have to do what you were driven to do what instinct took you to, now you're in jail. Well, probably most folks, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that. But I do know what it's like when you go there, when you chose her, and you knew exactly why you were going. If you committed a crime and given it the same definition I just given, and you did it because you want to say something, and people ignoring you, don't want to listen. So this is particular crime, whatever it might be. I guess whatever you did, you felt it was required to be done. There was a man once who was making a statement and took himself out in public, poured gasoline all over himself and burned himself up to make a statement to the people. And that what he had been telling them was worth the sacrifice he was making because they required it, because they act like they didn't have any sense. So he burned himself up. Did it really do anything? Not really. You know, the man probably heaven, but the change comes with you making a decision that you have accepted the truth, that you're going to treat others the way you want to be treated, and actually make that commitment and actually do it. Now, there are times you're going to be put in jail, maybe, depending on how evil it is. I want you to know that when you go there for doing committed stuff to better humanity, you feel like a king if you're a man. And I'm sure if you're a woman, you feel like a queen. There's no shame in your game. You know darn well what's going on. You know, when you don't know what's going on, you lost. But when you know what's going on, you know you got an enemy. And unless you're one of the bad guys, you definitely know it. Here's another key. Doing good doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing good. Good is always good for whoever receives it, but it doesn't mean that you're doing good for humanity. You see, in the world that's ran by evil, the amount of good that you do does nothing to affect to negate from the system that's robbing folks, that's deceiving people. It's doing nothing. They permit that. And they also permit that because many of you believe in God, or you say you do. You don't really understand God, but you got a God hooked to you some kind of way. And so by allowing you to do these things that does not affect negative the system, it makes you feel that the system is bad, but at least I can do this. So you think God, I got this connection with God. But really God didn't get any benefit out of that. Because God requires that you stand up against it. Truth requires that you stand up against it. Truth doesn't require that you shaking hands with evil. No. Truth requires that whatever the evil is, you got to go. That's what truth does. And that's the key. But that is required. Just like you got to lie and cheat and steal and hate and race and all that kind of stuff to serve the world. And that's in there. You say, well, I didn't have nothing to do with that. Yes, you did. Even if you didn't raise a hand against anybody, it is your power that empowered that to exist because you did nothing to stop it. You know what? I didn't cause it to grow. Yes, you did. Yes, by being there, you caused it to grow. So what I'm actually saying, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Out of all the things that's going on in the world, nobody, I don't care who they are, can fix it. It will take all of you agreeing that will fix it. And that's going to be a very complicated situation by all of you trying to agree. But there is a way. Put your faith in God. When you put your faith in God, that's easier than trying to deal with each of us individually. Because when we put our faith in God, we do the right thing. And the right thing benefits everybody. I- yeah, and even if going to jail means that's necessary, hey, the people before us didn't take care of it. And now it's on us. We got to take care of it. Because if we don't take care of it, our children might, and our children might be weaker than we are. And by God, we've been weak. But we do still have an opportunity because we're hearing it now and we can get busy now. And our kids will benefit, and not just by the progress that might mean something to do with what they're engaging themselves in daily, but at the same time, take us to another level of our consciousness with our God. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll end it there. I want to thank you so very much, even for bearing with me this early morning. And I definitely hope that you got something from it. Till next time, Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.